Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Third Strike Smooth Jazz. Hey, everyone, DJ Scott here, and welcome to our second episode of Third Strike Smooth Jazz. Glad everyone enjoyed our pilot episode a few weeks ago. Got some great responses and some great feedback from that. Two great artists we featured last time, and we've got some more great smooth jazz planned for you guys on today's agenda as well. First project here is Mystik Rhythm Studios. It's a solo project composed and owned by Rob Hernandez out of Central Texas. Now, Mystik Rhythm Studios encompasses a very niche type of smooth jazz. If you've heard of artists such as Thievery Corporation, Lemongrass, or Paul Hardcastle, those are all artists that tend to focus on the more electronic and lounge music style of smooth jazz, kind of in a very specific area of smooth jazz at that. And Mystik Rhythm Studios is no different. When I was listening to some of their music, immediately I started thinking of all of those artists. And when I spoke with Rob on the interview, which everyone will be hearing here after the first couple songs, he seconded that as well. So the influence is definitely there for Paul Hardcastle, Lemongrass, and the list goes on, which you'll hear more about in our interview here. So sit back and relax and enjoy our first tune here by Mystik Rhythm Studios. It is Impulse Fantasies, and after that we'll play another song, and then after that song we'll be airing our interview that we recorded with him as well. So sit back and enjoy Impulse Fantasies by Mystik Rhythm Studios. Hey everyone, welcome back. That right there was Modern Sunrise by Mystik Rhythm Studios out of Central Texas. On the phone here, we have the man himself, Robert Hernandez, the creator and mixer of Mystik Rhythm Studios. Say hi to everyone, Rob.
Hey everyone, how are y'all doing out there in cyberspace? Hope everyone is having a great time.
All right, it's wonderful to have you on the show. You are our first musician interview for Third Strike Smooth Jazz, so we're really excited to have you on here. We got a few questions prepared for you today to kind of give our audience some insight as to what it takes to be a musician, especially in a saturated market like Austin. So I guess we'll just start off from the top, and I'd like to kind of get some information as to your inspiration for Mystik Rhythms, kind of where you got the inspiration from, how long you've been doing it, and why particularly do you enjoy doing that over other projects?
Okay, well, Mystik Rhythms, let me see here, let me break this down. Mystik Rhythms originally started out of necessity. For me, I was starting to learn how to mix, but I did not have, at that time, I did not have a band to record or to mix with. So, the guy that I was learning from, he told me that I should maybe play around with some sound loops, sound waves, and create, just a little short, snippet of songs that just so that I could get something recorded, and that would give me the something to mix with, something to actually engineer behind the soundboard. So I started doing that, and after a while, the songs pretty much took on a life of their own. It became, interesting and fun at the same time, kind of like a hobby, in the beginning. And, little by little, as time went on, the songs kind of created their own life. And it was a lot of fun creating that. So I continued. And, that was back in 1999. The influence for this kind of music comes from a wide range of artists. I listen to artists like Afterlife, which is Steve Miller from the Steve Miller Band, but it's a different band. It's a different project that he creates, and he creates just very cool, laid-back EDM type of music. Also, another artist, 01, Sounds from the Ground, Shrift, Theory Corporation. All of these are just great artists that create very relaxed atmosphere type of music, stuff that I like to listen to from time to time. That's where some of this inspiration comes from. The very first type of band that I heard, playing this kind of music, and it was very interesting, was Tangerine Dream, and they were featured in a movie many years ago, and I thought the music was very interesting, and I guess that's where the influence for Mystik Rhythms came from.
Okay.
Bands like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I can hear a lot of that. And if any of our listeners here are familiar with any of those electronic type groups, you definitely want to check out one of the more popular guys out there. It goes by the name of Paul Hardcastle. He's been around for a long time. A lot of you smooth jazz fans out there have probably heard his name before. He's got a lot of music that's very similar to this, often very electronic. And I've seen interviews with him, and he kind of describes it in the same way that's kind of his own personal project whenever he takes on those all electronic songs. Another group too, as Rob mentioned here, Thievery Corporation, which I'm familiar with. Another great group, very, very similar to Mystik Rhythms. And then also, probably one of the more prominent ones would be Lemongrass, which is also a group that does electronic.
Yes.
Yeah, Lemongrass is another big one. They do a lot of music that's very similar to Mystik Rhythms. So I can definitely see all of those influences in there. And the cool thing is it's a lot of artists, they'll do this electronic style music, but it's hard for it to fit into this jazzy genre. So I think Mystik Rhythms does a really good job with that. It kind of keeps it true to like that jazzy influence, which I personally like, and I think it's obviously great for our show here. Well, that's excellent to hear. For our next question, I'd like to kind of hear and kind of see where you see Mystik Rhythms going, and if you have any projects you're working on at all.
Well, right now things are kind of up in the air for Mystik Rhythms. However, I am working on completing a CD with Mystik Rhythms music on it. That hopefully I'll be finished with that. I'm hoping within the next month or so, and that's including front cover, back cover, all the production for the music, and just the overall package, for that kind of music. I'm hoping within the next month I'll be completing that. Where do I see it going? Sky's the limit. If Mystik Rhythms gets picked up to possibly do like a movie score or something, that would be awesome. Or even some of the music would lend itself really good to some of the video games. That would be a very cool thing as well. However, right now, from time to time, I do create some background music for jingles, for advertisements, things of that nature. And it's not too bad. It's keeps me busy, keeps Mystik Rhythms going.
Yeah,
and it's just a lot of fun doing stuff like that.
Very cool. Yeah, and one of the unique things about your style of music too is like you said, that can easily fit within scores for like video games and movie productions. Which I've been very impressed with a lot of video game scores. Actually, it's pretty impressive how video games have really taken off with how seriously they're taken with their scores. So, yeah, I mean that would be a great avenue for Mystik Rhythms to continue, and that's excellent to hear. I'm sure all of our listeners here would love to hear some more of your stuff, which kind of leads us into our next question here. So, as you know, Rob, a lot of our listeners, I'm sure, are taking on their own personal projects. They're smaller branded musicians, and maybe it might be helpful for them to maybe hear a little bit of advice as to what it takes to kind of launch a project like that, and the level of dedication that you've had to put in, and maybe some of the more surprising things you've encountered in taking on Mystik Rhythms and trying to build it as its own genre, as it were, and also as a Mystik Rhythms in and of itself. So do you have any maybe specific information for our listeners as to, what it might take to launch a project kind of like Mystik Rhythms? Maybe some of the leading software that you would need to mix electronic music. Any information like that might be helpful to anyone out there?
Well, sure. For starters, the one thing that I would have to tell any upcoming musician: never quit. Never, ever quit. Keep going. There are several bands, professional bands, that were told, oh, you're never going to make it, you're never going to be anything, your music is not that great. They are now sitting on top of the world. Several bands, this isn't the place to go into the names or anything, but a lot of these bands you can hear on the radio currently. And if they had stopped at the first time that they were told, you can't do that, or you shouldn't be playing that music, we wouldn't be hearing them on the radio. So never, ever stop. As far as the software that I'm using, I like to use Acid Pro. It lends itself really well to being able to utilize different loops, different waves. I utilize Acid Pro, Cubase, and recently I've been using Reaper to mix and do a little mastering here and there.
Okay.
There are all sorts of software recording medium out there for for the budding musician. Just a matter of finding the software that works for you. I like certain software just because I'm very familiar with it. Somebody else may choose to utilize something else. Nowadays, there's really not that much difference in what these programs can do. They can all do the same thing, create music. There's no one that's better than the other. It all comes down to personal preference. That is pretty much what it's about. What are you comfortable using? What works best for you to create what you're creating? Just be original. Go out there, create some stuff. If there's something you hear that sounds really cool, try to find a way to either record that one unique sound or figure out a way to recreate it for yourself to where you can then record it and utilize it in some of your songs.
Very nice. Yeah, absolutely. And I completely agree with you on that one. There are a multitude of softwares out there to use if you want to mix your electronic music. And, as Rob mentioned here, everyone, it really does come down to personal preference. So feel free to, try a few out and kind of see what fits you best and what you're looking for and what you need best. But absolutely, and I completely second Rob there. As a former musician myself and as somewhat of a practicing musician right now, it is very important that no matter how much discouragement you receive and all the people who say you can't make it or anything of that nature, it's very important that you keep pushing on and you keep pursuing your dream. And just as he mentioned, a lot of bands we hear nowadays and a lot of bands that are very popular, it's not like they haven't heard their share of no's or you can't do it or you won't make it or you won't be anything.
Exactly.
So, that's the most pivotal part right there for any of you out there who are looking to start a new project, who are working on a new project, who may feel discouraged, anyone who feels like, maybe they want to give up. Definitely keep pressing on. And, I read a really inspirational quote the other day on social media, and it said, "Doubt has killed more dreams than failure ever has." And I think that is such a resounding quote and very applicable to the lifestyle of smaller musicians. So, well, there you have it, everyone. That's Rob Hernandez right there with Mystik Rhythm Studios, as I mentioned earlier, out of Florence, Texas, Central Texas. And he, as he mentioned over the recording here, he has been working on these recordings for a while, and he still is. And he's looking to hopefully put out a CD soon. Which, by the way, Rob, do you have a website or maybe a Facebook page that they can...
Yes, I do. I actually have two. I have a Facebook page, where people can, seek out Mystik Rhythms on Facebook. Or if you want to go directly to the site, it's facebook.com/Mystik Rhythms. I also have a Reverb Nation site, and that too can be found at reverbnation.com/Mystik Rhythms.
Perfect. There we go. And for everyone out there, I will be posting the link to his page on our Facebook page when I make a post for our new show, so everyone can easily find that. And, Rob, I'm sure, is open and welcome to any notifications or any inquiries about how he does what he does or anything like that. So thank you again, Rob, for being on our show today. It was such a pleasure. And I'm sure all of our listeners all over the world have just been enjoying the music that we've been playing today. So thank you again for coming on. And
hey, thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely.
And, I've enjoyed it immensely.
Up next here, we got our last tune from Mystik Rhythm Studios, titled Musica de la Playa. A Spanish-influenced electronic smooth jazz tune. You can kind of pick up on that with the guitar and it's kind of that traditional Spanish-style music. Kick back and enjoy our last tune from Mystik Rhythms Studios. And now, a word from our very first sponsor here on Third Strike Smooth Jazz. Hello to all up-and-coming brides and grooms. Congratulations on your big day. Are you getting married in 2016 or 2017 and need a wedding officiant in the Houston, Texas area? Give Marry Me Houston a call at 713-377-8921 or visit the website at marrymehouston.com. Or with any other inquiries, feel free to email marrymehouston@hotmail.com, serving the entire Houston area. Need an officiant that speaks Spanish? Marry Me Houston performs English and Spanish ceremonies, from the small intimate weddings to the very large weddings. Call Marry Me Houston today at, again, 713-377-8921. Marry Me Houston performs religious to non-denominational ceremonies as well. Again, call Marry Me Houston today at 713-377-8921, Houston's finest wedding officiant service. All right, welcome back, everyone. That right there is a very special message from our first sponsor here at Third Strike Smooth Jazz at Marry Me Houston. We will be posting a link to their Facebook page on our Facebook page at Third Strike Smooth Jazz. Go give them a look. If you're looking to have your big day in Houston or anywhere in that area in Texas, give them a call. All those guys are very professional, great to work with, and very affordable at that. So go give them a look. All right, up next here, we've got the Kevin Lucas Orchestra. Naturally, Kevin Lucas is the front runner in the band, and they are out of Illinois here in the United States. Their music has been described as a world music / fusion style of music, which I second and agree with. All their music is very different, very unique, and I'd say eclectic at that. Kevin Lucas is very well known, has won many accolades all over the world, and also has a beautiful YouTube channel, some great videos on there with some of his music, so definitely go check him out on YouTube. Up first here, we've got a song by them called Little Man.
Little man, your mystery, how do we stop? Do you feel free? Little man, what do you feel? Is it love? Tell me your dreams.
All right, welcome back, everyone. A beautiful tune there from the Kevin Lucas Orchestra out of Illinois here in the United States. That was a beautiful tune titled Little Man. Kind of spacey, almost similar to something you might hear from Sade, if any of you out there are familiar with her. Very popular artist. So, a great tune from them. Up next year, we'll be playing 3 songs in a row by them. Up first, we'll be playing a title called Greensleeves, and then it'll be Ocean Rising, and after that, we'll be playing Echoes in the Sand, which Echoes in the Sand is very unique in that it has some Hindi lyrics as well. And one of the cool things about his music and his band's music is that all of his songs have a social message, which is very cool to me, and I think speaks volumes to the artistic influence and the artistic level of Kevin Lucas and his band. Because, I mean, it's, after all, it's easy, or it's easier to just create a song. You know, that sounds good, or that's fun to play, or that's groovy. But it's something else entirely to create a song that has a social message behind it. So I can appreciate that, and I can appreciate the artistic value of that. So sit back, relax. We got some great tunes coming up here for you guys. Three songs in a row by Kevin Lucas Orchestra. So get back in your lazy chair. Maybe grab a cup of coffee, cocktail, and relax. Up front here, we got Little Man by the Kevin Lucas Orchestra. Alright, welcome back everyone. That right there was the Kevin Lucas Orchestra. Just incredibly and beautifully composed. Those last three songs there are Greensleeves, Ocean Rising, and Echoes in the Sand. Beautifully composed. And as I mentioned before the break, every single one of their songs does have a uniquely crafted social message, which I think is really cool, and I think speaks volumes to their artistic acumen as well. So, as I mentioned before the break, too, go check them out on our Facebook page, including Mystik Rhythm Studios. We will be posting links to their pages on our Facebook page and Twitter page. So go check them out. Go show them some support. But with that, everyone, that concludes our second episode here on Third Strike Smooth Jazz. Thank you all for tuning in. The support has been great, growing our Facebook page and growing our audience after our pilot episode. Keep it coming. Always shoot us a message if you have any questions, or if you want to see something on the show, or if you have any music that you'd like to be featured on the show. Shoot us a direct message through Facebook, and we will certainly give that a look. But thank you for tuning in, everyone, and we will see y'all on episode 3 soon.